no, he moves on again, this time towards E minor, before yet again turning aside. So, there we have the two most problematic elements in Wagner's revolutionary musical language: ambiguous chords and lack of cadences, the things which Wagner's contemporaries found most difficult to understand. And from these two elements he builds a fascinating structure in this prelude. Wagner works symphonically, with an exposition of themes and their development, but he isn't writing a symphony. He's introducing 4 hours of music drama, and his aim is to encapsulate Tristan and Isolde's world of unfulfilled longing and endless desire. And he uses his themes to represent ideas and feelings, and gives himself another whole emotional web to work with as he combines them. Going back to the very opening, Wagner gives us what is probably the opera's most important motive. It has 2 components. The cellos play what's destined to represent the notion of grief. Merging with that poignant line is the motive which will be associated with desire. Its top line elegantly reverses the direction the cello's grief motive takes, and longingly stretches upwards. There's a little stab of intensity as both oboes attack the first note, but only the first oboe completes the theme. The subtlety with which Wagner lays out the harmony underneath that theme underlines that little stab of intensity. The harmony is given to a cor anglais and 2 bassoons. But there's an additional touch of colour. The clarinets emphasise just the first chord by doubling the bassoons, just as the second oboe briefly doubles the top line. It's a tiny orchestral detail, but it shows the care and psychological precision of Wagner's dramatic thinking through his instruments. Here's the stab of realisation as we suddenly become aware of sexual attraction and painful desire. When that harmony is repeated, Wagner subtly varies the tone colours. The tiniest shades of feeling that inflect primal desire are somehow being recorded here with astonishing insight and precision. Now the first clarinet plays the top line, but it's the oboes and the second clarinet who now provide the little stab of quickened feeling. The change of colour and emotion is extraordinarily discreet, and it's registered by the listener almost subliminally. The lack of any cadence means the music positively aches for rest and some hint of fulfilment. The intensity increases. Then, quite suddenly, with a vibrant access of warmth on full wind and strings, whose promises of fulfilment seem almost undeniable, there's the most poignant interrupted cadence of all. In orchestral dress, this heart-rending progression is hard to bear. We feel the music has come alive after the disjointed and lonely opening, but it's only come alive to experience further heartache and unfulfillment. Musically speaking, we could say that we've now reached the second group of themes. The growing warmth is embodied in a broadly expanding melody. In the main body of the opera, this will be associated with the glance of the wounded Tristan. It's the melody we examined earlier. To hear it on the orchestra, though, is to perceive a whole new poetic world. It's supported by the rich sonority of the three bassoons and bass clarinet. Each change of chord is marked by a sonorous pizzicato on strings. Wagner is still developing his idea of painful stabs. But there's another, beautifully imagined sound. The bass clarinet supporting the bass line below the bassoons. It gives an extra warmth to the line, but also brings it into focus. It's the instability of that bass line that governs the restless harmony. Now, here's the whole of this wonderful lyrical flowering. As we've already seen, it constantly avoids cadence and moves on in unexpected ways as it follows the course of love's obsessiveness. But none of this leads to stability. We never get the firm conclusion of a classical exposition with its attainment of a new key. Wagner is exploring the psychology of love, and of an obsession which will never reach worldly fulfillment. It's a dramatic emotion, perfectly represented by his harmony of endless seeking. The most we can say of the music at the end of this section is that it marks a temporary resting place. Calmly and repeatedly it insists on its ambiguous chords. The great paradox is that these unstable harmonies begin to be heard by us as a substitute for a traditional cadence. That's a structural signpost and a momentary resting place. But the harmony, like our unconscious lives, is never truly at rest. The structural goals in Tristan are moments of unfulfillment, disorientation, and frustration of varying intensities.